Hey guys, welcome back. So now we looked at inequalities, quadratic inequalities, which just leaves inequalities that involve absolute values. Okay, so basically, if you don't remember what an absolute value is, it's very easy to understand. Absolute value basically makes everything inside of the absolute value positive. Okay, so if you absolute value minus 3, it'll become positive 3. If you absolute value positive 3, it'll just remain also positive 3. Okay, so it's just a way to ensure positivity. Okay, so hopefully you already knew that because we're about to do a question that involves absolute value inside an inequality. Okay, so I've got this question here. Absolute value of 2 minus x is smaller than 7. So one way to deal with absolute values, not the only way, but one useful technique to do is to just square everything, like square both sides. And one reason why this is helpful is because since absolute value is concerning the sign of our values, like positive and negative, if you square something, that's one way to guarantee that it's always positive. Okay, because when you square any number, it's always going to be positive. So if I say something like this, if I square both sides, essentially you can get rid of the absolute value sign. Okay, there's no reason for us to write it anymore because we know, like I said, this will be positive. Now, from here is another two different ways we could go. One way is we could expand everything here, okay, and collect it all on one side and refactorize it up. But what I always recommend is, since we already squared everything and everything is already in squares, let's use that to our advantage. Okay, so I'm just going to move everything to the left-hand side. Notice I didn't even write 47 squared because I don't need it to be 49. I'm going to use difference of two squares here. Okay, so hopefully you remember difference of two squares. Like these situations. This is what we're going to do. Okay, so 2 minus x minus 7. 2 minus x plus 7. Okay, so hopefully you guys followed along with that one. We can simplify the insides. 2 minus 7 is minus 5. 9 minus x is smaller than 0. Now in this first bracket, I'm going to factorize a negative out. And let's just write this again. And in the second bracket, I'm also going to factorize another negative out, which is going to make it positive at the front. And inside, it will become x minus 9. Okay, cool. So this now looks like something that we are very familiar with. Okay, it's just a parabola that we can graph. So let's just do a quick graph over here. We got minus 5 and positive 9. Big parabola. And basically the question says, okay, when is this graph smaller than 0? So this is 0, which means this part of the graph is the solution. Right, so we can shade these x values. And the answer to this question, whoops, let's use a white one, is minus 5, x, and 9. Okay, so after like this step, right, from here onwards, you should know how to do, if you did all the questions up until this point, you should be familiar with these ones. But main takeaway for this question is this beginning part, right? How to deal with absolute values. So we just looked at one way to do it, which is just squaring both sides, okay? Because that ensures its positivity and you can get rid of the absolute value that way, okay? So we'll leave it at that one for this video, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.